That might be part of the issue. Can you hear me now? Hello, testing, testing. I think my mic was muted. That would be that would be a big problem right there if it wasn't going on. That's the problem is I always have trouble making sure I'm going live, hearing my sound. So thank you for that. But without further ado, I think we are about ready to reveal the winners. So first up, this is going to be for the winner of the poster design. I don't have a picture of it available, but I posted in the video. It's pretty much a PNG I put together of all the classic Heroescape pictures. It looks really great on my wall, and it could look great on yours too. Again, thank you to everyone who subscribed and commented. All your kind words and comments really did mean a lot to me, so I appreciate that. Thank you, Mega Bugfish, for checking that for me. It's gotten the best of me a couple times. All right, and I got a new shirt today. I'm happy about that. My classic Roguescaper shirt. And let's see what's going to win this. All right, so this is for the poster, and that is going to be for Jordan Nielsen 884. I will message you via YouTube, and you have like 2 days to respond to make sure that you still want that prize. So you got that right there. Let me just copy this down so I don't forget. And I hope everyone had a great Halloween as well. It's too cold where I was, so it definitely was just we had an indoor trick or treat, and then we just went home and watched some scary movies. I dressed up as a Mandalorian. My whole family did. So I was the Mandalorian proper, Din Djarin, and then my wife was Sabine. My oldest was Boba Fett. Youngest was Jango Fett, and my middle girl was Sabine. Sabine ran from the Rebel show. So it was a pretty fun outing, and that copied here. All right, so for next drawing, it is going to be for the pretty much you can have any classic or NGC figure. We'll print and paint for you, or if you have a Hero Forge model that you've been wanting to get printed, I can get that going for you. If there is a VC STL, I can certainly get that going for you, but I know that availability of those is kind of dependent. We'll certainly talk about the details and see if there's anything that you want particularly, and I'll message you about those. And that will get printed and painted as soon as possible. These will all be probably shipped out within the next couple weeks, and I will be sure to let you know once they're all going out. I'll keep you updated. So let's do this for the painting, and let's spin the wheel. And Aircraft right there won, so congratulations there. You get pretty much anything you want painted. Good job. Copy that over. I can't talk today. I had a little tickle in my throat, probably from being out in the cold, but I apologize that I'm all over the place. And I will be having more of these contests, so don't worry, this isn't the only one. Next benchmark, I'm thinking is going to be 175. So if we get to 175, I'll have some more awesome giveaways available for people. Oh, thank you. Yes, yeah, I got that off Etsy. It's definitely one of my favorite things I own. Mega Bugfish, the Craig sticker right here. I also got Sonlin, who's faded out because he's being used so much. My own sticker I like to wear myself, and just D&D sticker here. I like stickers, but the only problem I have now is I don't have enough space to put them all. And all right. And this will be for the variant of the Skull Demon. I don't have the one commonly used, but they still have the official alt cult card on heroescapers.com. this is a hard figure to come by. This is not a 3D print or a paint. This is the actual figure. So this is available. We just crossed 100, and I'm stoked. I'm excited. Just something about hitting that number really made me super happy. So thank you all for doing that and pushing me over. We got a lot of things coming in the coming months, especially with AOA coming out. There's gonna be a lot more painting videos and boxings. I'm working on some lore videos. I have a lot of thoughts about Thorman, and I got some stuff talking about how to play Escape, how to play certain characters. I definitely want to talk about Source, meet the team. So I got a lot of stuff on the back burner here. I just switched jobs, so I have a lot more availability now, and we'll be hopefully getting things out a lot more. I'll keep on doing my painting live streams as I have time, and certainly keep on making those tutorials. Thank you so much. Yeah, hitting 100 is it's. I mean, I know there's people out there with a lot more, but it's these small little things that really made me happy. So we definitely jumped up from, I think, 86 to 100 in a couple weeks. So that's really, and I'm a niche within a niche right now. I'm teaching people how to paint who traditionally don't want to paint for a game that's been out of commission for a decade and a half. So every person that's following and keeping up, it's really means a whole lot to me. And all right, so last one is for Skull Demon. I always get the Skull Demon and the Horn Skull Brutes mixed up immensely. I always call him Horn Skull Demon, which I guess isn't wrong. He has horns and a skull, I guess. But I don't want anyone with to call me out on the pedantics. All right, let's see here. Who's going to win this? And that's going to be Light Siegfried is going to win the Skull Demon. All right, congrats. Now, we'll definitely be doing this again, as I mentioned before. And I have to write this down. I have the memory of a goldfish, so thankfully I did. I'm recording this so I can look back if need be. Well, we got that done. Congratulations to those winners. Horn Skull Demon Brute. Oh, don't do that to my brain. I couldn't handle that. All right. Now, Wave 3 for New Generation Customs. If you haven't heard, congrats on the 100. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, we just hit it, so I'm happy to be able to give this away and announce some awesome prizes. But yeah, New Generations Custom. You probably heard about them. They like to have their presence known in Facebook and the Reddit. We're really good at marketing yourself. We have some people great on the team who really excel at that. They put me in my little corner and they let me just paint and put in my 2 cents. So I am a member of that team and gonna help bring these figures to life once I print and paint them. I'm someone that's like, I have an idea, but how do we get this from an idea to a thing on the table? That's my corner I work on. If you don't know what New Generations Custom is they're pretty much a customs group really focused on painting and printing, utilizing that technology to bring new characters. Originally, we were focused on continuing the AOA story, but it's coming back now, so we kind of shifted focus to our own crazy ideas and stuff that we kind of would like to see on the table. So this will be a different review than some other people looking at it because I'm kind of directly associated with the team. I see how the sausage is made, so to speak. So I'll certainly try to give you as much trivia tidbits about the design process as possible. As I'm allowed to. Some designing is a interesting experience. If anyone can make a custom and put some stats on it, but really kind of putting it through to other people who excel at certain areas and really just kind of putting your ideas into a group of people definitely allows for more fleshed out and fluid concepts and more unique stuff to kind of get generated. A lot of these have gone through multiple iterations, and it's really fun just being part of the team. If you have a bunch of ideas, I suggest you find your own group of people and try to get that going as well. But shout out to Dandelions, who kind of manages this website here. I think we have, I speak biasly, but we have one of the best, I think, fan made websites out there. It's just so clean, uh, so readable. There's me. They link my videos I post for their NGC here too. So I just want to explain the website. Let's see here. So we are going to go to the compendium and we're going to check out some of these new cards. So first thing I would think would be good to reference is we have kind of a supplement for some new rules released. If you notice our cards, we kind of decided to limit or like use keywords for some of the powers that are used a lot. Like flying takes up so much text box space, but it's really easy to understand and allows for more, cool powers and other stuff to be added. So we traditionally have keywords for flying, stealth flying, disengage, and phantom walk at this time. Those are pretty commonly understood, and they're pretty easy to look up if you didn't know what they are. We use D20 instead of 20-sided die to save some space, and it's kind of more common now after a lot more people are playing D&D and stuff like that. Something introduced in this wave is atmospheres, which are really fun if you want to change the way you play the game, or they're really just a good way to, kind of give a different way or nerf some things or boost some things if you want to. The one introduced in this wave is called Darkness, which kind of makes sense. It's not a hard concept, but essentially it just means that figures with can't attack more than 4 spaces away and in line of sight as well. And it kind of gives some utility for the street lamps we designed. Do I have any around here? I don't think I have any within arm's reach, but yeah, we found some files for some street lamps. Oh, let me grab one right here. My office is a network of chaos, but you know what? I don't mind. That's how my brain works. And so we got these street lamps right here. They look great on the escape battlefield. If you want some non-traditional looking terrain, pretty easy to paint and get going. They don't offer much mechanical benefits outside of darkness, but you can use them to kind of create different kind of blockage so you can still shoot around but can't move through traditionally. Street lamps I was talking about, pretty much they also negate darkness, which means that if you're adjacent to one of these things, you are not affected by darkness. And then something that I'm really happy with what's been developed so far are icons. They are kind of a new concept, kind of exclusive to NGC. I have one right here that we'll definitely be talking about more. But essentially, these are used for targeting specific figures. And Mega Buffett says, yo, I'm reading along the site, and I love that use of the street lamps. I jokingly mentioned somewhere like this in the Discord a few weeks back. Wild to see a real version. Yeah, they're really fun. Definitely recommend playing with them. And if you kind of, I know, I'm hoping like C3G really takes use of them. And they're just kind of some unique. We were talking about it, and we realized, you know what, there's no obstacle that, you're able to shoot through, but not necessarily move through. There's lava, which is close, but there's lava, which is close. Sorry, someone's calling me on Facebook. Someone which is close, and but it doesn't necessarily serve the same thing. And yeah, definitely recommend trying them out. If nothing else, you can create some cool blocking scenarios. We don't have rules for them as destructible objects, but they're easy enough to remove that you can make your own homebrews and make them excuse me, able to be destroyed. And when I was talking about icons, yeah, definitely they are meant to reference specific figures, because escape rules and mechanics really have a hard time of separating squads from like kind of their individual parts. Let's say you want to target a member of the squad. The phrasing was a nightmare to navigate. So we developed these, what are called icons. They get placed on the board. Certain powers reference them. They will get placed on the board underneath the figure. And so like this one right here is for the Clats and Coles bell icon, which will give some benefits to pretty much creatures that are terrifying. And the darkness mechanic is simple, but it works really intuitively with a real game, which I appreciate. Yeah, it's a really simple mechanic. We had some different versions, but this is just escape. The key to making custom scape is keep it simple. No stupid, it's just really less is more. The limit of a space on a card is really what you need. The complexity level you should keep it at. So it's just it's a fun way to negate range, and really we have some scenarios that are still being tested, but they're being released soon that will be coming out that definitely make use of this as well, or you can just use them in your home games. And so here's just kind of a more specific breakthrough of all of them. And so that's just kind of some fun things to reference if you're looking to play with these characters. They're pretty easy and intuitive, but with that we just have a space for them to go. Let's see here. So this is first character we have is Volgren Sureshot. This is a really fun character that I got to play and test with a bit. And he's definitely gone through some changes. The part of the reason we kind of developed icons was his proportion contortion cannon, which we'll definitely dive into more. But we try to eliminate as much memory mechanics with an escalating. And Megapuff just says I did something a while back with escalating snowstorm scenario. Scenario play is really fun. It's a good way to mix up the game for sure. I'd love to see how that plays out. And but as for Volgren, let's see here. He's got Deadly Shot. When attacking with Volgren, you can all skull roll count for an additional hit. It's a classic power that is definitely better with range compared to melee, but it's fun. Thankfully, he has a low attack to kind of balance this out. Size Up, which was originally called Fell the Beast. We like the name of it, but there's so many beast post AOA that it was a little confusing to keep track of, and we didn't want to cause any initial confusion, so we changed that to Size Up, and I personally like this one more. But this one's really interesting. He has a lot of unique interplay with the axe grinders, and pretty much when he attacks a huge figure and no skulls are rolled, he may attack one additional time, which comes up a bit. Not a lot of competitive teams use too many huge figures, but it's good to have in your back pocket. But where this becomes interesting is with his kind of a signature move, Proportion Contortion Cannon, which is after Volgren attacks. If at least one skull is rolled, the defending figure is not destroyed. You may place either a small icon or a huge icon under the defending figure's base until the end of the round. An opponent's figure with the icon is considered to be that size for special powers on army cards you control. So what's really unique about this is that this is a power that changes size and uses size as a mechanic in the game, which is kind of working that out mechanically was definitely tough. It doesn't change your figure size, your model doesn't grow big, you don't have a different model you put on, but essentially you would put, do I have this icon here? So we have the Smolin icon right here. Yes, the Ant-Man gun. Yeah, he can make people big or little. So let's say there's some really fun applications with this. So let's say you just have Volgren, no other characters, and you're fighting Jotun. Not Jotun. Let's say you have Jotun and Volgren on your team. You can make Q10 small, have Jotun throw him around. You can have, a Death Reaver, which is traditionally a small character. Now it's a huge character that the axe grinders can hopefully take down a bit easier. It kind of addresses the issue axe grinders have, which is sometimes there's just not a lot of huge figures in play, and gives you some versatility in that regard. And he does have limited range. There's probably some concern about a range figure for a screening squad. We tested them and we found that this limited range really creates some nice interplay with the axe grinders, just because full range is, it's kind of marginal, and you're also giving up your axe grinder's move to kind of attack with him. So, people can definitely catch up to him, and once he's surrounded, he becomes less and less viable. Important thing to note is that you don't have to wound a figure; you just have to roll a skull for the attack, and it's definitely one of the most unique characters out there that you'll find. It's really, he's just a fun character. He's got some fun synergy as a soldier. You can put Marcus in your army and really kind of use him more as kind of uh, as a blaster up on a hilltop. If you don't want to do a dwarf army, yeah, he's just fun. He's a really fun character. I had the pleasure of testing him out. Definitely recommend him for just something different. There's some niche uses with gladiatrons to making them smaller, and I love the ant gun comparison. He's definitely a he just the second Ant-Man movie, which isn't entirely good, but does come to mind with that scene where everyone's growing big and small and fighting each other. That's how he feels like fighting. Definitely, we'll plan on making a quick paint tutorial for this guy. He's relatively easy, gold coat with blue accents and silver gun, so it's not too hard to figure out how he's painted. But he definitely does look really cool and really vibrant on the battlefield. All right, so that's Volgren right there. All right, we got Valor Agent Thomas Landis. So this guy went through a lot of revisions, a lot of reworks. I think he went up to like 6 revisions at one point. Just because movement powers are always something you want to make sure you're doing correctly and balanced, and you don't want to just if you move too much or too powerful, you can really alter a lot of the way escape game plays, because it is all about placement and positioning. It really is one of the strongest factors of this game. But he has Warp Blitz special attack, range 4, attack 3. After attacking with Warp Blitz, you may place any agent you control on an empty space within 2 spaces of its current location. Figures moved by Warp Blitz never take leave in engagement attacks. And afterwards, if Thomas occupies a type of space that he did not occupy at the start of his turn, you may attack and place an agent with Warp Blitz 1 additional time. I like this guy because he gives marginal utility to having an all-agent army. Now it makes sense to field both Agent Carr and your Krav Maga and your Microcore all together. Before they had little interplay and you kind of selected them for their niche use. But now it's kind of like, okay, now I can kind of control the way this battle fields and it moves them around marginally a bit. So let's break this down a bit just so it's clear how this works. So you want to attack first. And so you can choose to move him or any other agent you control within 2 spaces of the current location. They don't take leave engagements. And if you decide to move Thomas, you get to attack again, and then move an agent additional space. So total, you can move Thomas twice, and attack him twice, and move an additional agent. Is kind of how you can play that. Or you can choose to not move Thomas and just move one agent. So there's some decisions to be made there. And he serves Valerac. He's kind of a different vibe comparatively to the Vidar agents. So we wanted to get some Valerac love out there. Valerac is certainly becoming one of my favorite generals, so I do like that representation. He's got good base range of 7, attack 3, defense 3, and life 4. So he's a great filler unit to have in your army. But definitely will fall fast if you get him tied down and well, not tied down per se, but if you bring the heavy hitters in, he won't last too long. And I think we have had some custom Valerac before, but that's definitely a very fun one. Painting that is we went through some sizing problems of he wasn't HeroScape scale. So if you notice, he has some, if you print him yourself, he does have some different instructions, or just he looks more in line with HeroScape proper. So pay attention to those for sure. Now we have Nilcia Knight's Echo. Now this is a character hailing from Eberron. So this is kind of a, we tapped into the D&D lore a bit here, and we just like the vibe of this character and kind of what they represent. and it's this is a fun one, and is just brings some love and some power to a wolf army, which kind of needed that for sure. So basic, you have your double attack, you can attack twice, and now we have Howl. Whenever an opponent's figure within 4 clear sight spaces of Nilcia receives 1 or more wounds from a friendly figure's normal special attack, I'll roll the d20. If you roll a 16 or higher, you can place one of your previously destroyed common wolf squad figures on an empty space within 4 clear sight spaces of Nilcia that is not adjacent to any opponent's figures. So she can effectively uh, revive destroyed wolves, which is pretty powerful. Any revive power is always good to have, especially for a wolf army, which is so fragile. It's definitely it has a high I'm gonna say DC because I play too much D&D, but it has a high percentage, a low percentage of that working. So it's 20%, I believe, 25. Um, and yeah, but it's always fun to bring your characters back. I'd love to see a variation of this for some Vipers. I think that would be kind of fun because they have that problem of going out and dying, and then that's about it. But Wolves kind of had that same problem as well. And then we have United Pack. Anytime you roll the d20 for a lycanthrope or hybrid army card, you can add 1 to your roll for each wolf you control within 4 clear sight spaces of that hero, up to a maximum of +4 for United Pack. So it really does encourage you to kind of have a swarm of wolves go on someone. Makes lycanthropy and what other wolf heroes are. It does affect Howl as well. So Nilcia is affected by Howl, and I don't remember the VC Wolves power, but I think there are some that you see that we do have a list of all the possible synergies right here. Arctos. So yeah, so these are all the characters that can be affected by that. So get some use out of a wolf or lycanthropy army. Kind of bridges the gap, so to speak. So that's definitely something can become a centerpiece for a really powerful or fun wolf army. Got good move, average attack. Is a Dark Lord and a lycanthrope, and has relentless bonus. So there's some fun armies and combinations you could do here. I am going to read the poem for this character just because I really love it and I think it's worth touching on in the bio. So let me clear my throat out and dive into that. You hunt alone, you die alone, or so their fable claimed. No fate, no scroll, no tale told, could keep you from your fame. With crossbow ready in your hand, prepared with bolts blessed by the land, and armor weaved with the magic strands, you smile, you hunt a while. The whispered winds unveil scent of winning hunts and prey. Behold a distant elder's howl. You mark its last foray. Your bolt flies true between the eyes, and render null the old wolf's cry. But listen close and clarify. That whisper near, that howl still hear. The howl, ere a fowl, with scattered red and maws that growl. All exits turn to death before they're seen. You search and scour for shelter. Here, where you feel sound, you see the fear. The blade strikes true, its edge a guillotine. The canine pack smells blood to shed. Nose up they howl, your worlds turn red. Their celebrations bind them, hide in green. Though weak you crawl, avoid their glee. The bush is there, you're almost free. The echo strike brings silence. With no one left to listen, the echoes leave their mission. With no one left to fight, and food claimed by night, the hunter wakes to see a blinding light. Where endless wind meets canine mane, an endless song declares its claim. A twin blade lichen waits by flame to call the pack. You hunt new game. It's just, I mean, that's really great. He uses I ams, rhymes. That's and that's just from some fans who really like this game. I mean, shout out to HS Diora who wrote that. It's really great. It's one of my favorite pieces we've written so far. So shout out there. Um, I'll tell you this: the NGC team, and I'm speaking as again biased, has some of the most incredible and talented people out there. So it's always a pleasure just working with them, and I'm kind of a new addition to the team, and it's just I'm always impressed by the work they can do. All right, let's keep this crazy train going. All right, so next we have the Krypton agents. These are ones that went through a whole lot of work just to get them going, get them balanced and feel right. They used to be a four-man squad. I think in some promo materials you probably noticed that they had four figures. We quickly realized that that was insane, and we brought them down to a much more manageable three. And so we brought them down to three, and these guys were really fun to paint. I spent a long time designing, what color palette do I want. We this NGC Wave 3 is something from the planet Wenua, which is our custom planet. It's pretty much, think of it as reverse world for Earth, where weirdness and madness kind of run rampant, and things are kind of ruled by less than moral societies to keep everything intact and relatively normal. So it's a fun world filled with lore. I was like, how do I kind of capture this Earth-like feel, but also separating them from the agents that exist in Classicscape, Earth 2010, I believe. So we kind of wanted to really work hard on their palette and their design, and I'm really happy with how these guys came out. A stark black and blue. Um, it's just it's really fun. I like this character right here. Has red hair, which I think is kind of just unique. And I like old Sarge. I have this problem when I paint characters. I give each like different pose a nickname. So we have Sarge, we have Cleo and Sandy. Here is what I named them in my brain. You can name them whatever you want, or not at all. But So let's review the card proper now. So they work for Vidar. So it's always nice having some Vidar stuff with range because you can hook it up with Laglor. And the first power is Capture Protocol. At the start of the game, choose a species other than human as a Krypton agent's target. Krypton agents roll an additional die when attacking or defending against figures of their target species. So these guys are really work great in drafting formats or formats where you know what the opponent is going to bring. So someone who's running all Soulborgs, these people are prepared and have studied and took the time to, attack more effectively against them. If so, people that like to use single species armies, it definitely is a strong counterplay for them, but not definitely not. Three attack still isn't game breaking, but definitely is the preferred way to play these guys. And then we have cold storage. When a Krypton agent destroys a figure of its chosen target species, remove the destroyed figure from the game and place a gray containment marker on this card. A maximum of 3 containment markers can be placed on this card. So that's really there's some unique applications there. So these people are designed to fight undead originally. So let's say you have a bunch of zombies. You kill a zombie. Um, that zombie's not coming back. You can definitely, Morrow Hive, any like revitalizing armies are definitely going to be a hard matchup for these guys. And then we have countermeasures. Instead of attacking with a Krypton agent, you may choose an opponent's unique figure of its chosen target species within 4 clear sight spaces, or remove containment marker from this card. Until the next time you reveal an order marker, all special powers on that figure's army card are negated. So this one kind of references the other powers. It kind of is a culmination of all the other powers. So first off, if you attack someone that's been assigned by Capture Protocol, and you have a cold storage marker, available after you've killed someone from that species. You can also, instead of attack, you can negate its power until the next time you reveal an order marker. This is again specific to what you're fighting against, but it's a micro banishment like Moorsbane has. So you can. I'm trying to think of what's a really good application this is for. Um, it's a simple one. Let's say for some reason you're fighting an orc army. Grimnack is coming your way. It's the end of the round. Grimnack has the last order marker. You could negate him, and he won't be able to chomp any of your agents, which is pretty fun. So it's definitely keeps you on your toes on how you're playing and how you're going about this. You want to think a turn in advance. What's something that is good to take offline just temporarily? They have average range, average move, and they are a tricky squad. And yeah, definitely recommend getting a bunch of these guys, printing them off, and playing all of them in your army for sure. All right, going through this. Astley's finally here. Astley has been on the shelf for a bit, as things have been shuffled around because of the AOA announcements. But finally, this little bunny is here to play with. We have, if you've probably noticed that our familiars, we've kind of have a set color scheme for them. So they all are variations of white and purple. And I kind of like that visual synergy at first. At first, I was kind of opposed to it, but um, we discussed it and we're like, yeah, okay, so let's make all the familiars look like they're similar, which I think is actually kind of a fun idea. Of course, you can paint them any way you like. I saw some people painting them as bloopies from Legend of Zelda, kind of like that blue ethereal feeling, which, excuse me, I also agree with as well. So all the familiars kind of have their very own unique species, which is Hornrender or Brambletoth or whatever it is. This is a beast, so you get that beast energy going. Familiar with the Dryans and some Gruts as well. It's loyal, it's small, it's a little bunny. What harm can this do? So first off, it has Space Rift. As when determining range and/or sight for a normal or special attack or special power for a wizard you control, you may choose to count spaces from Astley's location and use Astley's target point. Astley is never affected by any attack or power that uses Space Rift. So this is really fun. It's kind of an extender for abilities. So let's say you're playing Moorsbane with Astley and you want to negate someone more than the designated spaces. Well, you can choose Astley, who may have been out in the field further, and negate someone. So it's definitely kind of some niche utility, as wizards are kind of all over the place. But you can use Astley as pretty much a focal point for any of the spells or nasty effects you wish to summon without getting your wizards too deep into the fray, which is great. And it has War Pop instead of moving Astley normally. You can place on any empty space within 4 spaces of the current location. It's pretty simple, just can teleport around the battlefield, which we thought was fun. It's got low attack and low defense, so it's going down going down fast. But if you want to kind of extend your spells and make wizards kind of have some funky utility, it's definitely you got 55 points left over. It's a no-brainer. I do wish it worked with Archmages, but that Archmage tag is the death to me. If only Solomon was a wizard. All right, so we have, and that's it. So that's it for this wave here. These are the previous releases. Most of them are AOA stuff. We do have some originals, but this is kind of the wave where we really started hitting our stride. NGC really was able to go to the table and not have to base it off what AOA was planning, but really like what do we want to have as designers and creators. Let's see if we have any new lore drops here. I forget when this one was written here. No, that's all right. So let's see here. I'm just checking, make sure. We have some more stuff coming soon. We want to just make sure they're all fully tested for you, so certainly be on the lookout for that. But yeah, that's wave 3. Definitely check it out if you need help painting some of these figures, I definitely will be uploading more videos on that. And if you have any suggestions for things you'd love me to paint, let me know. I'm certainly monitor those comments and pay attention to those. As I'm always, if someone says, "Hey, I need Mario dividers. I don't know how to paint them," let me know. I'll put that on my list and try to get around to that as soon as possible, either with a live paint or a edited video if I feel like that's necessary. And my voice is going out, but that's about it for today. Uh, it's just been a crazy couple weeks for me. Wait, there's something I didn't see here. Let's see if I missed something. Oh, oh, I skipped. I thought we had more. Well, let me get through these guys real fast. I was like, wait, wait a second. I think these are. I'm not sure how they're arranged. Let me just look at wave three. I think it was just how they kind of pop up. So there we go. I was like, wait, I thought we released a bunch more. Let me dive into this a bit more. Ignore those closing remarks. So we got slate scales. These are big boys. These are like giant worms o' death. They are fun to have. You can make, and they're common. So they're the first common huge squad. So you can just have a swarm of worms if you so choose. All right, let's look into these guys real fast here. So we have strategic underground movement. Instead of moving normally with a slate scale dire worm, you immediately place it on an empty non-water space. That is when 5 spaces of that current worm's current location and is no higher than 1 level above that figure's height or 3 levels below that figure's base. And dire worm does not take leaving engagement attacks, and that instance move 4 more spaces from its previous location, cannot use its undermine special power this turn. So this is definitely just kind of a movement. They can go underground and pop up somewhere new. It's pretty nice to have that in your back pocket. As I mentioned before, movement is a very valuable part of this game. And I love powers where there's some kind of tactical interlude. You can do this, but then you don't get to use the next power, which is undermine. After moving a slate scale dire worm, you may select an opponent's adjacent small or medium figure and move it 1 space. Figures moved by undermine never take leaving engagement attacks, and a figure may be moved by undermine only once per turn and only onto a land slice. So that means you can't put it into lava, but pods beware. These guys are pod breakers. They go into the ground, pop up, and they'll cause a landslide, causing your figure to be displaced. So it's well, they can't do both in turn, but you get the idea of how they work. And they're pretty sturdy, for their pricing, and they're slow moving, but they can really mess up an arm. Like your fourth mass. That's really all about getting that pod of people up in height with Raylan nearby. They just go, whoop, sorry, move Raylan away off the height. They're just fun. I love the look of these guys more than anything else. They have these alien looking worm guys that just are swarming around, wrecking havoc. And as I mentioned, they are their first huge common squad available. So you can, the ability to block other small figures is not a bug. It's a feature of these guys. That was considered when designing them. That you can build a wall of worms if you position them correctly. And so there's probably some fun strategies there, taking them down. And I love these guys. Don't really have a lot of direct synergies, but be boosted by the classical, which we will be talking about a bit. And Plats and calls. So I was a unit operator for this guy, and he gives me the heebie-jeebies. So I was making sure this guy got out in one piece, but boy is he freaky. He's probably the scariest unit out there. This is what he looks like. I have one in hand, and he is he's just a creature of pure terror. Perfect for Halloween games. especially with his powers. This person was kind of a design that was, far in some minor fine tuning. We love the concept and kind of developed a lot of things around it, but it stayed mostly intact when developing. Um, Winua has a lot of cryptids and scary stuff going on with it, and it's definitely just boy, it's freaky. It's a fun one to paint, pretty easy to paint, and it's kind of a variation. We found the model, and we love how it's kind of a variation of Siren Head and some kind of just it touches on a lot of cool tropes here. So it's an undead hunter, so there's some fun synergy there with some other pieces. And first power is for whom the bell tolls. At the start of the game, place a bell's icon under any opponent's figure. Common and uncommon terrifying figures you control roll an additional attack die against opponent's figures with a bell icon. And it may move 3 additional spaces if they would end their move adjacent to one of those figures or classical Nightwalker. Yeah, so this guy is able to pretty much target a specific creature, put this icon right here underneath them, and it just incites the fury of all terrifying creatures nearby. So if you're playing zombies, guess what? You got fast zombies now. Playing ghost, your ghosts are going supersonic speed to make sure they kill that person. But only if they end up next. So you have to really balance how you move classical with your undead swarms because there isn't a lot of direct synergy between them. Yeah, 3 space movement is always good, but it is kind of at least initially a one-time use until your classical gets into the thick of the fray, and then you're able to use it again. But this guy, it demands order marker balance for sure because you're always balancing between your squads and this guy proper. Deathly Chimes. Each time Classical Nightwalker receives 1 or more wounds, you must immediately roll the d20 for each non-terrifying figure within 2 spaces. And if you roll a 16 or higher, that figure receives 1 wound. Afterwards, you may then move your bell icons under any opponent's figure within 3 spaces of Classical Nightwalker. Yeah, so this guy is great as like a glyph holder or against melee focused armies. Pretty much, if you wound him, it goes boom, and the bell just chimes, and everyone nearby hears a shrill chime of death. And so if you roll a 16 or higher, they get a wound, and then you can move your bell's icon around, which is really a key to making this character work. And he has Phantom Walk, so he's hard to hold down. He has very low defense. He's defensive 1, so odds are you're doing more than 1 wound at a time against this guy. So that 9 life looks impressive, but it goes down pretty fast. This guy kind of plays like a Krug a lot, is how I described it. He just really he wants to be hit, but you can't be hit too much, otherwise you're dead. So it's really a balancing act of dishing out, getting into the thick of things, whereas you'll die. So do you play this guy as a cheerleader and have all your guys move faster? Do you bring them in the thick of it and really just have those chimes go off? That's kind of how you want to play it. He's got decent attack, and he's a really fun character. I love this guy. His silhouette alone is worth talking about. All right. And let's talk real fast about darkness. We talked about that. And we have some destructible objects. We haven't seen those for a while, really anywhere. So we got we have some vehicles that you can blow up. So first off, it's combustible. When a large direct vehicle is destroyed, we'll roll 1 attack die for each figure adjacent to it, 1 at a time. And if you roll a skull, that figure receives a wound. And you may ask, why would I stand by that? Well, you get partial cover. Small and medium figures adjacent to the large vehicle add 1 additional defense die against all non-adjacent figures. So it really kind of simulates the duck and cover behind a vehicle, and it's really fun. The picture doesn't show it very well here, but they do have bases that go onto the battlefield, and those STLs are linked on the website as well. There's a small version of that. I painted some graffiti on it just because I wanted some dimensionality to it, but you can do whatever you like when you paint your own vehicles. and here's just the smaller version of it that has less defense. Only takes up 2 spaces instead of 3. Um, yeah, so those are those. There's some maps that'll be released with those. Let's see if they posted the maps yet. I think that's still being updated. And yeah, so Wave 3 is kind of a chance for NGC to show themselves off. There's some really fun stuff here. Definitely recommend that you give them a try. I am being back end out of here, so I think I'm going to end the stream here. But thank you so much for watching. I will be reaching out to those winners about prizes, and keep on scaping. There's some fun stuff coming. You know, well, I don't know how I want to end this. So bye. You all take care.